This Express Training Bites broadcast is brought to you by PromoJournal, a division of PromoCorner. PromoJournal provides fresh, daily content from industry thought leaders, blogs, videos, product features, and live content all in one convenient location. Weekly advertising opportunities are available. Contact sales at promocorner.com to get your message seen.
All right, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a fantastic beginning of your week out there. We're kind of in that time of year that's a little weird, right? Like Thanksgiving, then there's that lull, and then we're into the Christmas and New Year. So I hope that you're having a great time, had a fun time with your family, looking forward to more great times coming up. You are watching Express Training Bites, and this is a pre-recorded episode. It is premiering right now on Facebook. You're probably watching it on either PromoCorner's Facebook page or Promo Show's Facebook page, but you can always check this amazing content out, whether it's recorded or live, on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. So again, this is Express Training Bites. I am Brandon Pecharich, the digital media director for PromoCorner, and I have an amazing guest that we have put together today. We finally got connected. I have been blowing up her DMs for a solid month to get her onto this show. But Katie, thank you so much for joining. And before I butcher your last name, because I have a tough last name, you got an H or an A in there, and I'm not quite sure. So how do you say your last name?
Yes, it's Kahler.
Kahler. All right. So there it is. And you are with American Solutions for Business. How long have you been with them?
I am. Thanks for having me on. I have been with American for about a year and a half now. I started in March of 2020.
And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the episode. So stick around, guys. It's a fun story. And the other amazing thing that has put Katie and I together is, I don't know if you get this little magazine in the industry or not, but there I am, and there's Katie. We are rising stars in 2021. We are pumped to have that honor. Did you know that this was going to happen, or just all of a sudden you got the email?
I had gotten some inclination. I think some of when you have your dad in the industry as well, it's a little bit harder to keep secrets, I think.
Absolutely. It is a family affair. That is fantastic. That is so cool. Well, so today we are going to be talking about kitting, about putting the stuff together, putting it in the box, and getting it out to your customers. So I actually reached out to Katie because I have been following her on Facebook or on Instagram for a while. And your thread is amazing. It looks like you really know what you're doing with that. And that's why I wanted to have you on here. But the thing I think we should answer first, for people that have heard this term, kitting, what is kitting?
Sure. So kitting is something that I'm super passionate about. I've done kits for really almost all of my clients at this point in some way, shape, or form. And kits can take a lot of different, avenues. My most common kitting, when you think about a kit, is something that's going to arrive in a box, be drop shipped, often to somebody's home address, and be filled with all sorts of goodies. So that can take a lot of different forms. And this has been like our most common form of kitting and what we'll be talking about a lot today. But there's so many other things that can be kitting. I mean, it can be kitting together print pieces to go to different branches. That's a kit. We can be kitting together like little pouches and survival kits that are going to be handed out at an event. It can take so many different forms, but so much of what we're seeing in the industry right now is a fun box full of goodies arriving on your front door.
I love that. That is so awesome. We'll get into a little bit too about how kitting has kind of evolved too because of force, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So that box that you just held, that's every kit that I've got has been a different size. I've got small ones, big ones. Like you said, it doesn't have to just be promo products. It can be other things too. How do you determine the size of the kit for the customer when you're talking to them? Is it purely based on cost, or is it need? What are some of the factors?
So it's kind of evolved, and to the point where we almost have, for each of our clients with recurring kits, we almost have this set formula that works for them. So it's really custom depending on the project, depending on the client, depending on shipping costs. But this box I just showed you was a 12 by 10 by 4. I have found that that is like a really nice standard box. It's deep enough to put a drinkware piece in, have some other goodies. You know, this kit in particular only has 5 things in it, but you could have 12 different things in this box and add more or less crinkle paper. So that's kind of a nice starting point, I would say, for someone who's new into kitting. That gives you a great experience, but gives you a lot of flexibility within the box as well.
I like that. I like that a lot. Crinkle paper. Oh man, I have and I don't know why I keep getting those kits. I keep saving it like I'm gonna use it sometime in the future. My girlfriend is just like, she's like, whatever. He's gonna save it. If we have a place to store it, I keep it. When I run out of places to store it, I'll start throwing it away. Oh gosh.
I recently gave an early Christmas gift that was filled with crinkle paper, and my best friend just laughed at me like, of course, this is, you can't get away from this. Your work is just bleeds into everything else.
That is awesome. So we talked about what is kitting, kind of how, you know, you put it together in the box and where it goes. So about 3 years ago, I was actually on a show with Kirby Hasseman, and he was talking to me about what I wanted to see more in the industry. And it wasn't really done a whole lot before because we didn't really have to do it. Online stores were starting to become popular, but I was like, I really want to see people kit things together, because as budgets shrink, or as they want to get more bang for their buck, you can send them 3 products for $30 instead of 1 product for $30. So I had said that 3 years ago. Well, then COVID happened, and we were kind of, how do we deliver our awesome promotional products, because we don't have those events? And so we were kind of forced to get in there and do that. So you also have a phenomenal story about how you started in the industry, and then how kitting kind of helped you out. So kind of tell the viewers here what you told me pre-show.
Sure. So I agree. I think in some ways we were doing kitting before the pandemic. And a lot of it that was happening, at least within our team, was like sending materials out to our customers, like multiple locations. So whether that be like HR materials, or, you know, something that needed to get multiple pieces out to multiple locations. And that still is kitting, but I think the pandemic really brought in a lot of the more like creative, fun kitting, and really talking about the experience. And it's that Instagrammable moment. I mean, it's what we are seeing in the retail world, which is retail is actually my background before I joined the promo industry. But we're seeing it from FabFitFun and all these different, you know, retailers are putting out their own kits or creating this experience, and it's sort of curated and custom. And I think that's really what we've been able to bring out even more in the pandemic. I mentioned that I joined the industry in March 2020. My background is in retail. I grew up with Macy's, had a great experience with them out of college, was with them for about 10 years, and was starting to look for other opportunities. So my dad has been in the industry his entire career, and he's been with American for over 10 years. And as we kind of talked about maybe a career change, you know, during the holidays of 2019, he brought up American. I job shadowed, looked at some opportunities, like, this is something I might actually be interested in. So I left the retail world, moved back to Arizona from San Diego, started with American on March 16th, 2020. That was the day that our governor had his press conference and did stay-at-home orders. We all came into our office. There were 3 of us here at the time. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks. Let's go home. Obviously, we know how that part of the story ends. But I started my career cold calling and selling PPE, because that's what we were all doing, and that we were, you know, had suppliers and had resources to be able to help out in the community. My very first cold call sale was for 100,000 masks, which was just crazy. And so I was really selling PPE in my first couple months. And then I had the opportunity, obviously a lot of layoffs and things were happening. I had a friend in the event industry who their normal experiential agency that they worked with unfortunately had laid off their team. So we started talking, and they had a need to send out kits and as a replacement for these in-person events that they would normally do every year. So my actual first promotional product sale in the industry was a kit, a very custom kit, custom box, all the elements inside. So it was, I joke it took me like a year to sell a pen because we were doing these high-end kits. So a little bit different story than I think most people jumping into the industry just due to the timing, but it really allowed me to sort of create my niche and tie in this sort of virtual experience and social media and retail and all these other things that I sort of knew, and bring that into the promo industry.
And keep it going while we were all locked down, while we were all kind of forced to work from home. But now, as things are opening back up, where do you see the future of kitting?
So I really don't see it going away. That same customer I mentioned, as they start going back to in-person events, they still plan to do kits going into 2022, because there's still a group of their customers, even pre-pandemic, when there were no concerns of, health and all those other things with an event, that aren't going to be attending the event and maybe watching from home or doing something like that. So there's still a lot of opportunity to be using kits and be selling them, and in fact, our customers can sell them as sponsorships and things like that as well. So there's still so much opportunity. We've really seen it take off. I don't see any reason for it to stop, especially when we dive into some of these other kits that we talk about. We're still going to have hybrid work environments. We're still going to have employees, different customers we need to get to. And now that we've sort of seen this experience, why would we walk away from that?
Agreed. No, 100% agreed. And I love it. I wanted to see it pre-pandemic. I love that we were forced to do it. So we kind of just forced education, which is fantastic. And I hope that people who are watching this are kind of taking notes as well too, because while we were trying to set this recording up, you were telling me about all the kitting projects that you have, and you were doing some in-house. That's kind of what I want to get into next, because I know a lot of people have that question in the back of their head. Do you just buy all the products from one supplier and have them kit it, or multiple suppliers? Do you put it together? What's kind of the rhythm that you have found with these?
Sure. I think we have so many options, and it really just depends on your client and your capabilities on which route to go. I am very lucky in the fact that I'm part of the Denver hub team at American, and we do have a dedicated warehouse and a team that really can support our kits and all of our different projects that we have going on. But I have definitely taken advantage of all of those different opportunities. For example, we love Batch and Bodega. Our clients love it. There's these great pre-made kits out there. If you want to start with kitting, that's a great place to start. You can just send out one. It's a congratulatory gift. I had a client who got a promotion, and I sent it to them. It's another great self-promo idea. So really look at some of those pre-made kits. I mean, we have tons of supplier partners out there that have these great pre-made options. That's a great place to start. And, when you're really looking at it with your client, yes, these might be a little bit higher end from a price and a cost perspective, but when you start getting into doing all of your own and realize all the time and cost that goes into it as well, you definitely see the value there. And I think that's a really great starting point. We also know we have supplier partners that if you work with them, they have a wide range of products that they can kit together for you. Or, the occasional, if we don't carry that, for example, like I put in food in almost all of my kits. So they have opportunities to still work together and bring in, if they don't sell it, they might be able to take in something from another partner. Or, we've done kits where we've taken like a local food item or local coffee or something like that and incorporated them as well. So there's definitely opportunities out there. I also have a really small kit that we do in the Tempe office every single month and just knock it out and send it out. And then, of course, our warehousing team. We've put in some really great kitting processes, best practices. We have a kitting worksheet, way that we figure out all of our costs and all of our information to work together and track all the different pieces coming in. Because I guess a short answer to your question is my most common kits are fully customized products coming from all different suppliers, all different locations. There's a lot of logistics that go into it.
Mhm.
And, that's really fun, but that's also the challenging part of kitting.
Yes. I mean, we're watching the news right now and we're all struggling to get one product in. And when a kit relies on 5, 6, 13 pieces to all come in to go out, then yeah, that can absolutely be stressful. And yeah, there are a ton of supplier partners out there. I mean, I do another show, the Everyday Show, Promo Every Day, and I think I've done like 3 weeks in the past 2 years for TechWeld, where they've sent me all of their pre-built kits. And so there are a lot of one-stop places. There's amazing opportunities and fulfillment houses. That's awesome that you're part of a group of American that's able to use a big warehouse too. So just all of it. That's fantastic. So you sound like you're a pro. You sound like you've done a few of these. So what's the coolest kit? If you had to be like, oh man, I kept one for myself. That's how cool it was.
There was one that's very, very cool, and I kept it for myself. It was something tied into the Emmys for a client, and it was just everything was like very high end, very unique and creative, and really all the pieces came together. We used like this beautiful metallic imprinting, and it just, when you opened it up, it really, really felt special. So that was one that I was definitely proud of. I had a great client response from, a great end user response from. They've already been able to secure a repeat of this project for 2022. So I mean, and just the amount of social media engagement that the client received from this kit, it was just so exciting and just amazing to see the ROI. They did a great job tying it into their social media feeds, their app, as well as their, all of their different event pieces that were happening. Timing is so important. So getting that right delivery date and all of those logistics, just really fun to see it all come together.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Well, this is Express Training Bites, so we're going to wrap it up here. But I wanted to give you guys watching a little bit of a 3-piece checklist. So she's got her checklist. If she feels like it, maybe you could reach out to her and ask her what should be on your checklist. But Katie, what are 3 things that our distributors that are watching that have maybe never sold a kit, or maybe they thought, oh, I never thought about pitching a kit to my customer? What are 3 things that they absolutely have to think about to sell a kit to their customer?
Sure. Okay, the first one is think about the wide variety of kits that are out there. I'm going to run through a few ideas just to get your brain started, but employee gifts, events, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, onboarding kits, client gifts, promotion, talking about something new, a new service, a new option, a pop-up experience, surprise and delight them in some way, virtual events, promoting early registration or attendance, or have that swag in hand that they can enjoy before, during, and after the event. And then, of course, in-person events, personalized check-in bags, maybe an additional touch point for people who aren't at the event. So that was your speedy list of all the different ways you can kit, but just think about the wide range, because once you start having that conversation with your client and once you do your first kit, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the future.
Yep.
My second tip would be to tie in printed materials and tie in, online experiences as your add-on. So whether that's including like NFC technology in your kits, QR codes on the printed materials, social media hashtags to encourage a call to action or a posting, tie in the e-commerce. We sell a lot of our kits on our ACES platform. And then messaging is just so important to really tie together the whole experience. And then I guess my third tip is really think about the timeline. So we really have, when you talk about all the logistics, everything that's happening in the supply chain, I mean, we're in the middle of the holidays right now, and we have 6 kits that are shipping out this week. So when you think about all of the logistics that go into that, I really recommend creating a timeline that you can work back from. So my clients have an end target date in mind. All right, this is when we're shipping. This is when we're kitting. This is when we need all the product delivered to the warehouse, and then back it all the way out. So then this is when we actually need to supply all of the artwork and the printed materials and the messaging. This is when we need to select the products. Kind of create this at least 4 to 6 week timeline for a kitting project, plus all of the decision making that needs to happen up front, and just create plenty of buffers, because it never fails. As on the ball as you may be, there's going to be some sort of delay, or something that should have been back in stock is not. This is just the world we're living in. So really work that timeline, create deadlines, and hold yourself and your client and all of your supplier partners accountable to it.
Amazing. I mean, those absolutely the 3 things. Those are staples. That's how a kit gets done. After that, it's all the fun stuff, right? You get to pick the product, you get to do all the stuff.
Create a fun box, get some really cool decoration.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a given, but
that is awesome. Katie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, especially in this holiday season, and putting up with all my Instagram DMs so that I could get you onto this show. Thank you so much.
anytime, if anyone here wants to check out my kits, feel free to follow me at 480 Promo. Happy to share ideas and brainstorm as well.
That is fantastic. You guys, thank you so much for watching Express Training Bites, and we will see you on the 3rd Tuesday in December.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me.